from the Department of Labor. It is against the law to withhold somebody's overtime if they already earned it.
Wow.
You think the union would do that? Come on.
Now, does that apply in the case where, let's say we work overtime in the pay period? We don't get it from the pay period.
That depends on how your job has it set up. Some jobs, they literally send you a contract, which I think sucks. You know, you work overtime. I don't want to wait a month to get my money. That has to be negotiated. There are some jobs that they tell you, if you work overtime, you won't see it for a month. It should be, you work it, it should be not that period, the next one, which is over a 2-week gap.
I have a question. Say you representative, right? And, because we have a cap, if we go over 80 hours, we get a CD and we get our overtime taken away for 30 days. What would you do in that situation? I know it's double jeopardy. They saying it's not. That's what they saying.
Then what, they're taking your money away from you?
No, they taking away the overtime for 30 days and they giving you a CD on top of that. Ain't that double jeopardy?
Hey, first of all, what did you do wrong?
We went over the cap.
Yeah, but that's not your problem. That's not your fault. If your job tells you gotta work, you gotta work.
But say that's hypothetical. Let's say. Ain't
I'll
that
probably
double?
agree. First of all, let me tell you something. That won't be in your contract. Because that's the one thing we had to get out of DP's contract, which is almost worse than what you got. Let me tell you how DP had it.
But ain't
right?
that double jeopardy?
Well, it's not double jeopardy. What it is where in your contract does it say that? Does it say it?
No.
No.
Oh, then I'll be grieving it. Show me in the contract where it is. If it's not in the contract,
But-
then you
But
can't
what
do that.
contract?
The department is not even paying us the overtime. DOE is.
He's saying that if you work over 80 hours,
But we
they've capped all of you, right?
That's
Yeah.
NYPD, right?
Yeah.
You saying a contract, I haven't seen the contract, I don't know what contract.
Your contract that Local 237 has, it should.
We don't have a
No,
contract.
you still follow your old contract, right? You
still follow your old
follow your old contract.
And
Your old
get this,
contract.
and get this. If there is no contract, that can't happen. You cannot negotiate stuff when there's no contract. You can't. And Local 237's already done it. They did it to Health and Hospital.
When was that
They
last
signed
contract?
off on a new grievance
You remember
procedure,
the date?
and they don't have a new contract. Okay? Let me tell you how DP was. DP was so bad, right? Say you work 40 hours this week in overtime, and then 2 weeks later you take vacation time. Your time and a half goes to straight pay because you took 40 hours.
Oh, shit.
But you know what though? The jobs will do this as long as the union lets them. And that 80-hour cap, if it ain't in the contract, we should be fighting.
With the 80-hour cap, this is what they're doing. They're telling us you can't work more than 80 hours a week. If we go over...
1 minute.
What is it, a
1 minute.
You go over a
If
minute.
you go over a minute, you went over the 80 hours. Now, they're leaving it up to us. So we get a command discipline at 30 days off. The level 3 is gonna get a command discipline because she failed to, what, supervise?
Yeah, supervise.
Well, the level
Have to
3 is the one
monitor our
that should
overtime.
be. Let me tell you something. If the sergeant, who gives out the overtime? Sergeant, right?
Yeah.
The level 3.
All right, so if the level 3 is giving out the overtime, that's her responsibility. Or his, honestly.
But
But then sometimes
You
you
try to
have
command discipline,
officers
but so
that go to other schools without some of the sergeants knowing about it. You
But how do they
understand?
get over there? Who's giving this overtime?
The borough.
Well, then it's the school's fault too. You understand what I'm saying? You got so many people monitoring this and no one knows. Come on, that's like me telling you, you know, don't spend this much money, but I don't know how much money you're spending until I get the bill at the end of the month. I mean, if a school takes you and go, oh yeah, come on in, they should have a chart. First of all, why? Let me tell you something. If there's nothing in your contract right now, I'm not talking about your new one, the one that just expired. If there's nothing in there that says you can't work over 80 hours, they're wrong.
Sometimes the people get over the overtime because they don't have nobody to do.
No, you're forced. That's another thing. That's forced
Right,
overtime.
What you do in the document, you get a CD for it.
Right, you get a CD.
Yeah, but they're forcing you to work it and then they turn around and give you a CD. Because
Because
that
you
makes no
already had
sense.
75 hours, they bring you in and they write you up.
First of all, I've never heard of a command discipline for working. I mean, honestly. No, seriously.
Overtime.
Overtime, I don't care.
Yeah,
For working.
When I spoke with Mr. Jackson, who was the law enforcement director, he said they can do that, because he said they do it for the cops. But he said, he also, so I asked him about them taking 30 days. He said, well, then that's up to the chief, so that's where they can do that. Because I'm saying to him, the same thing he said, it's not double jeopardy, that's wrong. So he said to me, no, it's not wrong. They can penalize you because they penalize the cops, because the cops is what, 40 hours? So they can give you a CD, then it's up to the chief or whoever that says, okay, then you could take extra 30 days. That's what he told me.
No, that's double jeopardy. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. First of all, if it's not in your contract, first thing we do is grieve it. Grievances are for things that's not contractual. Show me in the contract, what you would tell the city, the board, show me in a contract where they can't work more than 80 hours. That's what you do. And you take it to oath. Your Honor, there's nothing that's telling them that they can't work more than 80 hours. Now, if it's in the contract, that's different. That's a different.
No, because that came up recently when NYPD did top 100 earners. Too many school safety agents was on it.
There
That's
was
what you make. That's
you know, there was
what
mad.
that's all about. Exactly. But until you put it into a contract,
They were mad because people were driving better cars than no. So they were like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop them.
Easier for transfer from one agency to another.
that I have nothing to do with that. Your city time always goes with you. And the reason why, it depends. It depends. Like, I'll give you an example. It depends on how many credits a certain job needs. Like, I'll give you an example. Like CUNY, they're not cops. CUNY has over 530 hours of training. In order for you to go to CUNY, you would have to do those 530 hours of training. It depends on what the qualifications is for that job. Now, if CUNY was to transfer here,
In other words, what I'm saying is, since we're already peace officers, if you wanted to go to another peace officer group, shouldn't there be some, even if you had to go to training, that's fine. But you should.
well, you have it now. I mean,
shouldn't have
do you
to
mean,
do
oh,
the test, though.
should you have first preference? That's what you're talking about. Well, that would be like if a test comes up, like I give you an example, at you know, like Gregory Floyd does to undermine his own self, but he doesn't care. At CUNY, they have CUNY police officers, and then they have CSAs, campus security assistants, doing the same job, but they're in the same union. They pay Greg Floyd the same amount of dues, but he's taking their jobs. Health and hospital, he's bringing in what they call watchmen. But when something goes wrong, they got to call you. So that's why I'm saying, now with that transfer back and forth, that can happen. It's up to the city. It would be, because most of you do that anyway. You know how many guys I've talked to that work for CUNY, work for ACS, now they work for juvenile, now they work for HRA. You're always moving, so the city allows you to do it, but it's not always that easy. It just depends. Now, if you're talking about a preferred list, I know what you're talking about. If there's an opening and I want to leave to go over there, why don't you take me first before you take a stranger off the street? That's something that would have to be, you know, yeah. And Bloomberg, when he was here, didn't give nobody nothing. So who knows what this mayor wants to do? You won't find out until you sit down at the table. And that's what I'm saying with a contract. You guys at least get for the first time to open up your own contract. That's another thing too. Wouldn't you like to open up your own contract that says City of New York, School Safety Police Officer? That's what you want. Not Local 237, and you got to look in there and find your title, and then find. But no, that's what happens. You know. And we put together a good team to get that done.
Yeah, with your, let's say, your sick time. Okay, now let's say you work them out a certain amount of years, and you get ready to retire or do whatever you want to do. Now they would give you 50% of the time that you have on the books. Now, is that a standard thing, or is that something that could be negotiated?
That was negotiated probably by DC 37. Because like with the state police, when you retire, you can take you can take your money cash out. You don't, it doesn't come out at 50%. You know, I think that sucks.
Right.
That's why, but then what you would have to do is burn it.
Yeah.
Burn it. You know. So that's why you got people like, oh, I'm retired, but I'm not retired yet because I'm burning my sick time, because that's the only way you'll get it at a clip.
100%.
You know, instead of just saying, I'm walking out the door and give you my 3,000 hours of sick days that I have, you know. So, there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of cops that, you know, like DP, they have a lot of sick days because they didn't have line of duty. So if they got hurt, they need something to pull back on. Now they got line of duty. Now the job's telling them you have to get rid of it and get down to 180 hours. Because that's all you can carry. So now they're scrambling. Some guys can actually take off 6 months and still get paid. And literally, they haven't put a time frame on it, because if they do, then they have to give it to them. They can actually not go home for 6 months. Because they have to have an opportunity to burn. And that's another thing that we're negotiating with. And again, like I said, that's what happens when you have your own union, your own contract. You can go in. You guys have your own bargaining unit. You have your own. Even though leeba, DP's with leeba, you won't see leeba, you won't see DP in your contract. You won't see DHS in your contract. all separate. You'll get your own contract, and that's another thing too. That's the same thing, so.
Would that reduced numbers, does that make us less strong or strong?
I mean, it makes you stronger. Makes you stronger.
Because
The only thing more people in the union do for you, if you're not in the same title, is dues, money. But what's he done with it?
And it makes nicer rallies.
Yeah, but he's done nothing with it. He's done nothing with it. But you have 5,000 of one of the most important things in the city. Education is always the number one bill for every politician. Always. Once we get everybody, all 5,000, you documented, registered to vote, all these politicians, every time they run, it's always education, education. Well, you know what? Help us out. Because there's a school in every district. And you sway votes, you're in the city. That's why every mayor candidate never cares about NYPD. They never care about the endorsement. You know why, right? Because
all from upstate,
three
all
quarters
from
of their
Long Island.
course
They don't live in the
is
city.
Long Island or upstate. They don't live in the city. So they don't need them. But you 5,000, say you have a family of 4, that's 20,000 that you can say do this, plus family, friends, relatives. Now you got a voting block, plus every district, you may have a lot of schools there, and this guy wants to run, and you're saying, well, what are you going to do for us?
It's like a
That's
whole
what I'm gonna
neighborhood
say.
right there.
That's what I'm saying. What are you going to do for
It's
us?
like an entire neighborhood.
Any bills that you need to get some of the things that you said, has to go before council. Got to get it to the floor so council can vote for it. That's how you play that game. You got to play the game. You know? So, I'm glad you came out. Again, we'll keep having them.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds, guys. I just handed you all out a statement. Just take a look at that last statement. It says your retirement. Just want you to know what that is. That is the statement that every member of leeba receives every 3 months. This person, I just want to, you see right there, obviously we blacked out the person's name. Hang on, I'm really done with you just a second.
No, go ahead.
We blacked out the person's name and information, but what you see here, look on the right, see it says plan entry. This guy was January 1st, 2009. You take a look down here under account in review. It shows how much the balance was, because the date on this thing is October 1st, 13 to December 3rd, last December 31st. So you see there for this 3-month period, remember how I said $87 every 28 days comes in? This period right here, this guy got 261 in. The account increased in value by $394. Look down on the bottom of that column. He's got $7,365 in that account, $7,365. He's only been in since January 1st, 2009. Okay, so that winds up being 4 years, and he's got $7,300 in that account. Okay, that's the way it ought to be. It's supposed to go into the account, and it's supposed to be in your name. Incidentally, you get one of these every 3 months. Every account is in your name personally, and you can log on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can move it around to different funds. If you want, you call us. We can tell you, give you a little background on those funds. You can make up your mind. Or just leave it in the fund that it automatically defaults into. But the investment is yours. You leave your job, you retire. This money will be there to help you in your retirement, the way it's supposed to be. Somewhere along the line, many of these unions have forgotten what this thing was supposed to be, and that's a retirement. So that's something else to know. I just wanted you to know what it was you were looking at there, all right? Any questions, Paul?
Let me ask you, but let's say if you do take it, so our annuity is transferable to yours? Because sometimes
We're gonna be fighting for that. We're gonna be fighting for it. Yes, it's supposed to.
What's in there? Yeah.
Now, will Local 237 give it to us? No, but we have to make them.
We're gonna make them, but they don't want it. They don't want it out in the open. What's been going on?
Yeah, but then wouldn't it be easier, even though I know it would be taxed, if we just take it out ourselves and then put it in? Because we can do it that way also.
That's if they allow you the option to do that.
They can't stop us. Most of my fellow coworkers that left, when they apply
No,
for
when you
the
leave.
annuity,
When you leave. No, you're leaving the job. You're moving from union to union now. So, would they give it to you? They should. They're gonna tell you no.
But they have no choice.
No, the
not
money's
money.
gonna come, right.
Right.
But the thing is, we can't accept it until it's been audited. Because, all right, just for example, say there's $20 million, and we take the 20 million.
Okay.
There should have been 40 million. Well, if I didn't audit it, they looking at me now.
None of you have what you're supposed to have.
I know that for a fact. You got a sergeant here that worked 33 years, she got $20,000 on annuity fund. Where's the money?
When this person's been there for 4 and has 7,500.
I know this
4
one
years.
dude, he got 27 years. He called the union and he only got $15,000.
What's his money?
7 years.
Your money would have been better off in a bank. Your money would have been better off in a bank account. And that's what he said. But see, here's the problem. I'm not even accusing him of nothing. All I'm saying is, when you invest your money, you have a right to know what happened to it. Regardless if the stock, the bottom fell out on the stock, you're just gonna have to eat it. Okay, I lost 13,000. Well, how did you lose 13,000? Well, you know, I had it in Apple and they had a crash, and that's what I'm talking about. But what he's supposed to tell you is where that money went. I'm not saying that maybe he didn't lose it legitimately or whatever, but he's supposed to tell you where that money is. And that's what you don't get in your statement. You don't know how you lost it. Did my stocks go down that year? Why am I $8,000 behind by the years of service? You know, they're gonna say, oh, when the market went bad. Well, the market went back up. Everybody recouped their money. You would have recouped your money had you just left it alone.
But isn't that supposed to be public record also? Because you're supposed to be able to look into that, correct?
That's why DP gets
Right.
quarterly statement,
But the same thing
and they
with
can go and pay. But you don't get that. You get a print with just a number on it, right?
I know, well, there's a bunch of numbers, but what I'm saying is we still supposed to be entitled to look at it through the public record. They can't stop us.
Well, no, that
It's
one,
up to us.
your annuity fund, let me tell you something, they keep that under wraps. They don't let you look at that. That's the problem.
Okay, let me look at that.
That's the biggest fear with a lot of people. They saying that the annuity fund is not going to come over.
No, they told you it's not gonna come over.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course
But
they're
the
gonna tell you it's not gonna come over,
can't stop it.
because they don't, but they, to bring it up, listen, look
You're not
right
going
now.
to take something without investigating.
If Greg Floyd was man up and Vote 237 was man up, go to election. Stop fighting, stop all the BS, let them decide. Democratic country, let them decide. You should decide where you want to go. That's the way it should be. But he's not going to do that. After he does all of this and stuff, then he turns around. And see, here's the Employees Welfare Fund. Here's a copy of it. All right, and this is one here, welfare fund payments. $1,540 per annum, but you get an annuity fund too.
Right.
You get an annuity fund agreement. And that money has to go with you, it's your money. And the reason why is, why would you want to be in another union?
And money back.
And your money's in another union, who's deciding on where they invest in it and how much you're gonna lose. Plus, they can take administrative fees off of it for running it. So now, you're not even a union, but they take administrative fee. So they literally can drain your account.
Right.
Just
So you're not putting
administrative
nothing
fee.
into it. So you're not putting into it.
Right.
You're not there. I mean, they're still getting the money, but you're not. They don't represent you.
Right.
So
They
how
just
would,
represent your money. So why would you even want that?
Oh, how
If you're not in my union, go with your money. Go.
so how we get that money from
I can guarantee you, there'll be a lawsuit. We'll sue them, and we'll have to go to court to get it. The court's going to give it to us. They'll give it to us. They'll go. Oh, 5,000 people. Oh, they're gonna have to up the money.
And why you got to go through all that? For that's
You tell me why they're not gonna give it over to you.
Because they might not.
Because they gotta be accountable for it. Like I said, you said that guy, they got how many years on? Got $8,000?
20.
Oh, they got 15,000? Well, they would have to explain, in that, would have to show what happened to his money. I can tell you what they do. They already told somebody what they do. They take everybody's money, they put it all in one pot, and they send it out. And whatever comes back, then they divide it equally between everybody else. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. I tell you what, depending on your age, is how your hours is set up. If you're older, you want more secure stuff, bonds. You want stuff that's not gonna lose. If you're younger, you can play the risk because you can make it back in the market. It goes up and down. But as you get older, you don't want it to fall out the bottom and you're ready to retire. You're like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you keep it, that's why everybody in leeba has a separate annuity fund. Plus you can add, like you said, you know stocks. He can say, hey, nah, I like this. This is more aggressive. I did my homework. I actually work on Wall Street. So you can go online and transfer it yourself. Okay? And your union talked about we don't have pension counseling. Yes, we do. He's a pension counselor, and you can call our fund to help you. They'll tell you what to do. What do you need? We'll help you here to assist you. This is your retirement. So we have it. And let me tell you something. Anything that he can buy, leeba can buy. Because he's getting his money from the same source we get our money from the city of New York. There is no union that can tell you, oh, we do this for you because of your dues, because they can never run a union on your dues. You be paying like $1,000 a month for them to pay for everything. Okay, but it's not gonna happen. Okay, you know, your dues would probably be about $250 a month if they wanted to pay for your ancillary, your vision, and all the other stuff. You know, and you see the benefits that we give it because we care about you, our members, and it's your money. It's your money. I understand you need a place. You know, the place they got to pay for the building. They got to pay for, you know, the people who do all the paperwork. I understand that, but don't skim off of giving us the best available benefits that you could buy. It's an insult to give you $10,000 life insurance policy now where you can't bury nobody for $10 grand.
You gotta get insurance outside.
It ain't that. Listen, it ain't that much between. It's a little bit, but between $50,000 and $10,000 policy, but we pay it because I think our members deserve it. I think they deserve it. I believe they need to go to a dentist under Aetna, and you know we get braces. You get automatic credit. Get your kids' teeth fixed. Get your teeth fixed. Go. The money's coming from the city. We're gonna use it. And the pharmacies, I wish we would. And let me tell you, with Obamacare and everything, there's a lot of stuff changing. Even next year, all unions might have to go to unlimited because on the Obamacare they're supposed to. Which is gonna be a mess. It really is, because you know. But like I said, TBTA, they have a lot of unions have better benefits than you. See, the other thing, because you're huge, but look at the payroll this guy is. 26 business agents at $85,000 a year. Expenses plus a car. It's almost $100,000 you add in the car and expenses. So that's $2.1 million right there. How do you do it? Come on. Then you got your board, everything else, building, taxes, lawyers. Every time they send a lawyer, they're being charged by the hour. That's why they don't fight for you. You gotta go to oath, you gotta bring attorneys, you gotta pay them.
Right.
You go select them like a discipline like we do, you gotta pay them. They put the money in their pocket. Yeah? And all the business agent do is he's there to keep you down. That's what he's supposed to monitor you. He's not on your side because if he does protect you, you're gonna get fired. And I had somebody, I don't get too mad at the business agents because they got a family to feed too. So if Greg tells them to jump off a building, they're gonna jump off a building. They're gonna jump. You know, I have a conscience. I wouldn't take a job that I couldn't effectively do my job or I'm screwing somebody because somebody told me to do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want the job. Because I want to do what's best for the members. Here, when you have your own delegate, you're going to vote the delegate in. If the delegate don't do the job, you fire the delegate. You vote somebody else in to do the job. But that's why NYPD does it. You know, and even some of them, you know, they got to be checked too. Because, you know, they want that Monday through Friday, weekends off, you know, I'm not going to make no way. I'm a fighter, I don't care. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Right is right, wrong is wrong. At the end of the day, we can make up excuses, because everybody has them. But at the end of the day, it's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And that's the bottom line. So this gets out YouTube, school safety, sign the card. You can go online. Let me tell you something. Even when we came to the city of New York with that, they was like, you can't do that. Credit cards and banks take it, you can sign online. It's legit. And they said, okay, as long as it's a signature. Because no one's ever given them online signatures. You know, we've changed stuff. You know, I got the city suing the city. That's how bad leeba beat up the city. We had OLR sue OCB for backing our arbitration award. Imagine that. Officer of Relations suing Officer Collective Bargaining. Tell them Officer Collective Bargaining you were wrong for allowing this arbitration award to stand. But I knew they can't touch our arbitration award. That's the one award that they cannot touch. They can change everything else, but they can't change that. Okay, that's fact, and that's what we want to get you to one day, is that with 5,000 strong, let me tell you something, the city knows you would be a force to reckon with. Because most unions that have that many members, just in size. I'm telling you. So tell all your fellow officers, just sign the cards so we can be ready to play the game, to dance with Greg, because he's going to have us sign in every 30 days. And that's another thing too. Watch how he drags his feet on getting you a contract. You should have had your contract already by now.
Let me ask you, so what is your main goal with school system?
Take you out and correct the situation and get you higher pay, get you the benefits you deserve, and get you the respect that you deserve. Right there.
Career path.
Career path, and make this a job that you want to stay on. A job that you like to come to work to. You know, a lot of you, let me tell you something, what you do dealing with kids, it takes a special person. If you don't have the patience, you can't do it. It's true. And a lot of you do, and you should be rewarded for it. Okay? You should be rewarded for what you do. Because you make everybody else's job get safe. These teachers couldn't make $100 grand walking up in here, it'd be chaos in here without you.
My sister's a teacher in District 27, and she says, without a doubt, we would not. I don't walk into the school until I see.
It's in the contract. They cannot step in the building without school safety.
There you go. That's something to remember. They all get sick and they can't go to work that day.
They don't walk in until
But
they
it shows you your importance to the educational system. You know, you may be the most important and you're the least paid.
And forgotten.
Without you, this system don't work. Same thing for DHS. Homeless people be running all over the place. Honestly, Bloomberg did that, Giuliani, everybody, fine. But the conditions they make me work in is ridiculous. None of you have ever been to Randall Island, Waters Island. They have 90% of the intake there, I believe, is when you leave prison and you're on parole or probation, you have nowhere to go. That's where you go.
Even if they had somewhere to go, they could be paroled directly to us.
Yeah. So they do what corrections does. But they're not getting paid for it. They get nothing. And that's the thing. But let me tell you, again, no one gives nothing out for free in life. And you gotta fight for anything you want in life.
How many you got right now going to the election?
We thought we had about 600, we got about 500 cards. And we need 1,500 to pass the 30%. I would like to have at least 1,700 because you're gonna get some people who might make a mistake, leave a name out or a date. Believe me, the city comes down on you. Oh, they didn't have a date, it's invalid. And if you miss that number, then you miss the petition.
Is there a specific time?
No, you guys are good.
Is there a specific time or?
Right now, they're saying that you don't have an MOA. I'm giving you guys 3 weeks because I really believe Greg has signed the MOA. I'm telling you. I think he signed one. He'll sign it. He'll sign on the down low, and then we'll put the petition, and he'll go, oh, look, I signed this. I'm telling you. Because that's the only way he can stop you now. The only thing getting in your way is you. And he knows that. But just in case his backup is to trick you, is to trick leeba, which is why we file every month. We file every month for DOT, we file every month for CUNY. No, we're not CUNY anymore because we're going to an election with them. And Elton Hospital's filed every week. Every week. We did the same thing.
So how many law enforcement you got right now that's going to go?
Right now, CUNY, Health and Hospital Police will be with HACPBA, but we help them out, we assist them, and DOT inspectors.
They're not going to leave CUNY?
CUNY's coming.
Oh, yeah.
DOT's coming too.
Okay.
DOT highway inspectors, I didn't even know about them. They call them and say, hey, and they're the second most revenue producing agency in the city too.
Which agency?
DOT.
Who's Cobra?
Who?
Who's Cobra?
Cobra? That's
Corrections.
Corrections.
Corrections Officers Delivered Association.
Okay, so
PBA.
NYPD, PBA.
what do you do?
No, that's their own union.
That's the,
That's
yeah.
their own union. PBA, they have their own PBA. That's why they do much better. They on their own. You'll be with leeba, but you'll be school safety.
So when you say health and hospital, PBA,
They form their own PBA to get out. But we assisted them because they're not under your rule. They weren't granted the ability to come out. The city's trying, because they work for Health and Hospital Corps. That's a little game they play. They're not city workers.
city, but the city.
Right, so they couldn't force them into this. So that's why they had to do it that way. We had to find a way around it. And let me tell you something, that sucks for them too because they can't go to the National Labor Relations Board. They're stuck with the city because they get funding, so they become a public group. Even though they work for Health and Hospital Corps.
Oh, so they can't come out? Hospital police?
They have to come out on their own.
I'm kind of concerned with that too because FJC, they're raising them up close to our pay, so they may try to use them over us in some kind of
Of
way.
course,
Yeah.
they would if they could. See, with that is, they may get the same pay or more, but they don't have to pay the benefits.
Right.
So that's why they would do that. That's why there's 635 CSAs, 675 CUNY peace officers.
Wow.
They're almost outgaining it. And what happens is, when they lose the POs, the public safety officers, they don't replace them.
Right.
And they just keep hiring CSAs, and then here you go, But, and the reason why Greg Floyd don't care is because they both in the same union, and they both pay the same dues. So it doesn't matter whether you're CSA or public officer. You know, that's not right. That's like you here, if you had FJC here, something happened, first thing they'll do is call you because they got no powers. So what do we need them for? They'll be taking jobs away from you. That's what, at DHS, that's what they would want to do.
If that's the case, I want to go out for MPC security, do less work.
Right.
You get the same money.
Yeah, but you won't have the benefits, you know, your retirement system and all that stuff, but, you know what, but we have to get going on this, you know, please, everybody just go out, tell everybody, give it a chance, just, they can go on, you'll have it on YouTube, or they can call me. A lot of, you know what gets me mad, today's the day of information, you can go online, you can check this, you can call the city, this booklet you have here will be online.
Some people are saying that the phone number that's on your website.
No, it works. It works. You know what? We had a glitch. We have what we call because we have 3 offices, and we've been campaigning. I can't be in Casco, so the number you can transfer any way you want. It's for Verizon, so I can literally sit here and the number can ring if I wanted it to. But they had a glitch in it. There's no problem. You can call us, email us, so live system 24/7.
We need to fill out this?
No, you don't need that. You're done. You're done. Did anybody else sign the card? You took the card?
How many?
Yeah, does anybody have cards?
We got 600, you said?
Close to about 5 something.
5. How
5
much?
and change. I thought we had more, we had 5 and change, but when they sign online, it comes automatically, and then we get the hits.
What's the possibility in 3 weeks when you get that
It's
1,500?
easy. There's 5,000 of you. Not everyone has to sign.
So y'all guys been to Brooklyn, all these places?
Tell everybody. Pass it along. Make it happen, guys.
Brooklyn's tough.
Important part, right, there you go.
Queens.
Brooklyn and Queens is the heart, trust me.
You gotta get a school in Brooklyn.
But we got one coming up at the 28th in Long Island City. So,
But that'll be too late then.
I don't think so, but that's the only day we could get. That's another thing too. All of a sudden, when we tried to start getting these schools, we've been having problems. I already know where that's coming from.
They have what is it? A big cookout on the 28th of June. It's on a Saturday. It's where I'm with the Explorers also from my PD. So that's where you'll have a lot of school safety.
Oh, yeah. No, that's in Queens though.
That's in Queens. That's
Queens is good. We
You'll
need
have
Queens.
a lot
You know what?
of,
This
lot of
is what you tell everybody. Just sign the card. And if you have questions, when election ballots come out,
That's the hardest.
that's the hard. Yeah, but then,
But they're gonna want.
but this is what happens with DHS. We weren't allowed to come see you until this week. They wouldn't allow us in. We were able to address their roll call. That's what we would do. Once there's an election, we would just go to every school and hit your roll call. And they can ask any questions they want. See, if I come in and try to hit your roll call now, they ain't gonna allow it. But
Why they could stop
seven
you?
will hit your roll call and talk about leeba, don't vote for them, don't let them in. And every time, we call a lot of schools trying to get permits, and they're giving us a hard time. You know,
Usually on the supervisory level, not on the school level, but on the supervisory.
So on the
People
28th,
are
it's gonna be on
the
Brooklyn?
union.
yeah. No, Queens, Long Island City.
No, I said Queens.
Trying to get one more by the 21st, and if we have to, we'll rent a place somewhere here. But what we're gonna start doing is start hitting the schools now, individually, and just try and catch the officers as they're going in, and that's tough too, because
So we
someone's
need you.
scared.
Pass it along, guys. Pass it along, please. Please, please. That's where it comes from. It doesn't come from us, it comes from you.
I don't need it. Get some cards.
Yeah, yeah. True.
Some cards. Anyway, my cards, they want some.
Yeah, you need cards, absolutely.
Stupidity. They make them
They like,
playing games.
tell them to go on YouTube.
Oh, that's